It was only 4 days before my 18th birthday. I was a senior in high school at the time, with a few friends in the military. Then, on December 7th of 1941, my life was changed forever. That day, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and in the process, killed some of my enlisted friends who were stationed there. I was so mad that in the matter of a day, my childhood friends were taken away from me. I knew that after the horrible day of Pearl Harbor, that I wanted to stand up for my deceased friends and countrymen who died for us. After some consideration, I knew that enlisting in the Army would be the right thing for me to do. So, the following year, while in the midst of a world war, I enlisted, not knowing what I'd be doing, where I'd be sent, just knowing I'd be defending my country. However, I was not immediately sent out for active duty. I received delay entry so that I could go to college for 1 year. This is something I'm very proud of. After my 1 year of schooling, I started active duty as an aviation cadet. I did this for the next 13 months. During this time, I learned how to fly an airplane. After a few months of flight training, I got to take my first student flight on October 30th, 1943, in a Piper J5 Continental. After a few months of flying in the Piper, they moved me up to the Fairchild PT-19 Ranger. During my first year, I went through primary training, basic training, and logged 137 hours and 38 minutes of flight time. After a few more months of flights and training, I was promoted to a flight officer of the 553rd Army Air Force Base Unit. From February of 1945 through October 1945, I flew all around the U.S., associating with the 3rd Ferrying Group, ATC, and Romulus, Michigan. My main job was ferrying things around the U.S. to different military bases. When the war ended with our victory, it was a great time for the country. As a soldier returning home, I was very proud. Now I was a veteran. The war gave me a new feeling of pride and respect for the country that I had never felt before. I'd always been very patriotic, but now more so. I had a hard time dealing with people who disrespected the great nation that I, along with thousands of others through history, defended with honor. I felt that all Americans should respect the veterans that defended their rights. After the war, I met my wife Dot, and we went on to have 5 children. As my children grow, I realized that I didn't want to share details about my service time because some of it was too much for me to reflect on. So instead of telling them my war stories, I raised my kids with good values, teaching them how great our country really is. Around my community of Whitefield, I tried to organize things to commemorate veterans. I was successful and a Veterans Memorial was built. In a small field, there is a granite stone with a tribute to our veterans. Around the rock, there is a tree for every war the U.S. has fought in. Thanks to the building of this memorial, people can gather for a ceremony that takes place on Veterans Day and Memorial Day at the location of the memorial. I got angry when the local school didn't follow proper flag procedures, and it annoyed me when they left it up all night, left it out in the rain, or even when it wasn't put up. The war really changed me. It made me appreciate everything about this great country we live in. As my life went on, more wars occurred, and it pained me whenever another brave man or woman died. But as long as there's people, there will be war. I fully understand this. We are winners in this country, and that is not going to end. When we get attacked, those attackers better be ready, because with America, there is no holding back.